That's as bad as it gets, man. I'm Jake. He's Joe. We are the Jake and Joe Bengals postgame show presented by First Star Logistics, our fantastic partners. And I have nothing fantastic to say about the Cincinnati Bengals defense in this game. Obviously, I think this is just the worst defense in the NFL. And that is what we need to unpack in an unfathomable loss that keeps up the Bengals winless streak coming off of Thursday Night Football. The voodoo, too strong. The juju, too strong, whatever the word is you want to use. Like I said, we're presented here by First Star Logistics, who give us awesome stuff to give away every week. This week, we've got a couple of those X boxes to give away, one for our winner from X from Twitter. Make sure you're following at First Star Log on Twitter for all the details about all the giveaways we've got going on every week. We'll have a giveaway winner in the YouTube live chat as well. Make sure you enter hashtag First Star Logistics. Only enter it once, and you're in the draw to win in the live chat. And again, a shout out to our partner, First Star Logistics, who is hiring. And if you're looking for a great job in the Cincinnati area, one of the fastest growing, best companies to work for in the Cincinnati area, check out firststarlogistics.com for all the job postings. And I like how Mike Greenberg put this, Joe. Mike Greenberg, obviously, probably keeping a little bit closer tabs on the New York Jets than we are. But the Jets coming into this game were like the Bengals when Jake Browning was a quarterback. They had not scored a meaningful touchdown in a month, is what Mike Greenberg tweeted after the game. The Bengals scored 38 points against a team that with Justin Fields at quarterback could not muster a non-garbage time touchdown for their life. They couldn't get after the passer. They couldn't cover. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't get any penetration against the running game. They were probably out of their gaps without looking. I assume when you give up that kind of running game, you're probably playing undisciplined defense as well. I mean, it's just all bad. I don't. How is this not the worst defense in the NFL? If you're going to do this against a Garrett Wilson-less, Justin Fields-led Jets offense that has been pathetic at home off a mini bye, what hope is there? There's none. That's the answer.
I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm sick. I have a sick feeling like to lose this game to the 0-7 Jets. Not that we're counting anything with this Bengals team this year, right before it happens with this defense, but if there's a game you're going to win, if there's a get right game, if there's a game where you feel strongly about it on this entire schedule, it's the Jets game. And for them to be up multiple scores throughout most of the game, but you could feel it slowly slipping as you grew more and more confident that this defense could not get a stop all day long. Sure, they held up in the red zone a couple times early in the game, but that was it. They were not getting stops. They were not getting pressure. They were not getting their hands on the ball. They were holding on for dear life and then cracking in big moments, missed tackles, missed assignments, just letting Fields hold the ball for too long and go through multiple reads and get to multiple options. 2-point conversions too, or Fields is dancing around guys and running away. You look like you're running in steel-toe boots in cement. They look unathletic. They look unprepared. They look unwilling to do the things it takes on defense. And then I'm just sad that this potentially is the end of the season. I mean, you cannot lose this game and expect to keep the room, keep everything warm until Joe Burrow gets there. Keep the seat warm, right? Until Burrow gets back, and then maybe you make that climb. This had to be a win. You had to steal games. You could not drop any of these easy win games, I should say. It's unacceptable. Honestly, a lot of franchises probably fire Al Golden at this point, right? Like, I don't want to push the conversation already there. I'm sure we're going to have it today and on this show, but to have it in the first couple minutes of the opening, I'm sorry, Jake, didn't mean to put that on you right away. It almost should happen because I don't see what the hope is. And he said the reason he got hired is because all these guys that Lou couldn't get to play well, what the hope was Al was going to get them to play well. Well, that has not happened. And all the draft picks you've had stink. So what is going to happen and how is it going to get better from here on out? I don't see it.
I think that's probably our midweek conversation, right? It's reminiscent of Terrell Austin under Marvin Lewis. It's not dissimilar. I guess one difference would be the talent level. And this does go to the front office as well. The drafting decisions, the free agency decisions, it is more than just Al Golden and the way that they're approaching this defense. But I do think that the conversation is that you mentioned steel toe boots and you mentioned Joe Burrow. So I do want to point out just
He's not wearing
before
a
we
boot.
get back. Joe Burrow, this video from James Rapine, as you see Cincinnati Bengals talk. You can see Joe Burrow on the sideline here. No boot.
I haven't seen this actually, so that's good.
And so does it matter? Would the result today have been different with Joe Burrow at quarterback? You can maybe argue that he would have found a way to score on one of those last 2 drives. I mean, we could go back and look at the film and see what Joe Flacco did, why those balls went to Andre Yosavash, who's currently catching a lot of heat in our chat here on YouTube, and I think rightfully so. It's part of the conversation, but it's really the defense first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 11th. And then you can get to Andre Yosavash. Sure. I think that is a fair conversation to have. But on a day that you scored 38 points, your third receiver not being very good is a low problem in terms of the priority. It is a problem. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to excuse Andre Yosavash and not being able to come up with a couple of catchable but difficult plays, right, on that last drive, one of which could have been a game-ending interception before that 4th down. But you score 38 points. You're up 2 touchdowns until the 4th quarter. The Jets scored 23 points in the 4th quarter. The best thing you can say about the defense is they got that 4th down stop early, which was almost enough to get them the win. They got 1 3 and out to follow that. And then in the second half, the best thing you can say is, like you said, they got a couple of red zone field goals. But then the 2-point conversions, you stop one of those two-point conversions, game probably changes a little bit. Credit the Jets for going for 2. Justin Fields for making those plays. Justin Fields for evading the entire Bengals defense on the first 2-point conversion and evading the defense on the second one long enough to barely convert. But man, like there's nothing on this defense that works right now. Not literally nothing is working on this defense right now. Can't name a single player that I think had a good game in this one.
No, and that's all we had to hold on to. I think the previous few weeks was, well, DJ Turner's playing well. And well, Dax Hill, we like Dax Hill. But like it was so, that should have been our warning. We knew the defense stunk. But we've had the worst loss in franchise history this season, Minnesota Vikings game, right? Statistically, the worst loss. But that was, they potentially turned the ball over 7 times with the fumbles and the interceptions. And okay, that's not going to happen every time. This feels like the worst loss in the Zach Taylor era in terms of what was in front of you. You could have got to 4-4. You could have been feeling good going into the Bears game. The offense is putting up points again. The offense has found itself again in October. It's even with Joe Flacco. Browns fans are like, we couldn't get 14 points out of the Joe Flacco offense. 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski sucks. And I'm like, yeah, everything's going great for us. And then you look at the other side, you look, damn, this defense again is giving up a 6-yard gain. And then no one's near Justin Fields. It's a 15-yard pass. And then missed tackles in the hole by Barrett Carr. I mean, I don't want to name, you can go down the line and name every single player on the defense that had such a soft attack on the ball, whether it's them in the hole to make a tackle, or it's taken on a block, or it's in the right gap, or chasing guys down, or Jordan Battle coming down and just being extra soft, and Barrett Carter's coming from the backside being extra soft, and then Brees Hall just runs and no one's there. And it's like, at what point, I understand the talent sucks. Like we do draft work all off season, Jake. People that watch us, I know there's a lot of people that only show up for the games. We do this stuff all off season, and we're telling you like, they drafted like crap again. Well, poop again on Christmas on draft day. And like people are like, oh, you guys are being too critical of them. And then we see it and it's like, yeah, I know the personnel sucks. I understand they have drafted like the worst team in the league on the defense side. Go look at all the defensive picks since 2021 and down. Terrible. Trash. Maybe you have DJ Turner and Dax Hill. You have spent 30 picks on the defense. That's not good enough. And then you look at it and you say, okay, so I know the personnel is bad. So how can you fire Al Golden? Why? Because that's the job. He's supposed to be able to get these guys to at least play hard, play physical, come downhill, make a play. You can at least call up a blitz or design a blitz or a coverage to confuse the quarterback at some point in the game. It's Justin Fields. It's not Peyton Manning. Something has to work at some point. This is the worst defensive performance I've seen in a long, long time. And we've seen some bad ones going back, the last 25 years of Bengals football.
Last 2 years? I mean, we don't even have to go back
Sure.
very far.
I'm just saying, stretch it. It's that.
Yeah,
bad.
you can if you want, but the last 2, I mean, this is worse than last year. Last year, it was the problem with the team. This is the same issue. If Joe Burrow's at quarterback, you still have the same issue you had last year, and it's probably worse. And you're talking about guys being soft. Again, not to call anyone out individually because it's all of them, but
Yeah.
Go to the Jets touchdown on fourth. This is a touchdown, I believe. Yeah, it is on 4th and 2. And it's just, it takes me back to last week, and you're giving up these huge plays. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? You're giving up it was last week. Aaron Rodgers seam balls, feels like a year ago, last Thursday, on these long down and distances. And you get this blitz and you get a free runner here. Great. You twice in this game.
Yeah.
Twice. Out of how many offensive plays for the New York Jets? Let's take a quick look
You're
here.
70.
72. Twice in this game that I noticed, dial up a pressure that confused the Jets. They got Myles Murphy one-on-one with the running back. They got this free runner. I guess 3 times. They got Cam Taylor-Britt free on a blitz as well. And just like, I'm just going to let it play. Just watch Jordan Battle here. You're a free runner at the quarterback. This is 4th and 2. What are you doing?
Why'd he stop?
What are you doing? I mean, and it's not like Jordan Battle was terrible the entire game. Jordan Battle made a couple plays in this game, but like, what are we doing here? Why are we stopping our feet 3 yards away from the
cover zero? Your guys are depending on you to get home.
Yeah. I mean,
the guys you're in the room with every day in that DB room.
To be fair, Dax does get beat here, but he has no help. He does get beat. Has no help. You got to get.
He's got inside leverage because he's got to take away the easier of the throws. Like if Fields is going to make an outside rainbow ball to the sideline, do it, because I've seen you do that twice in your career.
And when later in the game they get the same look with Cam Taylor-Britt, the blitzer, and he gets to the arm of Justin Fields, you see what it looks like. It falls incomplete. You can't muscle through a defensive back hitting your arm, but if you just let the guy throw the ball like you're in practice, the QB's wearing a red jersey. Like, what are we doing here? Shaking your head. That's all we can do.
Honestly, it's that bad where you can just sit there and marinate in it because it's so bad and it's so frustrating. And the worst part about all of it is that there is no help coming. I don't know where the help comes from. Does Trey really change this game? He clearly wasn't himself. But as a whole, everyone looked slow coming off the line. The pass rush just did not. It's not complimentary pass rush. Even if Trey had, there was one play where he had a win on Fasciano and got the pressure to Fields' backside. It didn't matter because Fields just slowly moved away, found a guy open, hit him, and he held the ball for like 3.2 seconds on that play. And I'm like, someone else has to win, and we're year 3 for some of these guys, and they're not winning. And Myles Murphy is soft. Shamar Stewart on a screen. Did you see him stop and run the other way? He doesn't know where the ball is still. Like, nothing's changed with Shamar Stewart. He's still the same guy. Joseph Osai is as clunky as he's ever been. The 3 of them, like, we talk about it for a second, Osai, Murphy, Stewart, because you've drafted 3.
And that's all they had in this game after Trey Henderson got hurt.
Trey went down.
It was a brutal shot that he took from John Simpson. You understand why that aggravated the hip injury. But sorry, continue. Get back on.
We talked about bringing up Johnson and because he could have been activated this week, and maybe that would have helped with Trey being, partially injured. But the 3 guys that you've really drafted to hope your pass rush would be good for the future, for the stretch from 2021 to 2025, they're all very robotic, unnatural type players and athletes, right? They're all stiff. They're all not aware of where the ball is. Osai plays hard, and I will give him that. Shamar Stewart will run through your face. I will give him that. Murphy's getting blocked by a receiver on some of these plays, and he's kind of like touching the guy and like, don't hit me too hard. And then like, I don't want to be that mean about the guy, but I'm watching it like, dude, this is your chance to play and make a name for yourself and have a long NFL career. Allen Lazard should not be blocking you and pushing you inside Breece Hall runs around the outside. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? At least the linebackers, for all their faults, and they had a ton of mistakes, because I'm just going through the row of the young guys here on the defense. The linebackers had a ton of mistakes, but at least they're running 100 miles an hour and trying to do something. The times they look confused, that's just more of them being young, I think, and I think they'll be fine. But it's just, they shouldn't be playing this early. That you're not supposed to be playing linebackers this early. Most teams around the league are not doing that. The Bengals are starting 2 of them.
And Logan Wilson, while he was on the field, which was not terribly often in this game, 20 snaps, I believe, out of 72. Gave up 2 catches for 43 yards, according to PFF charting. Barrett Carter, 9 catches on 10 targets for 85 yards in this game. Dax Hill was a corner. that was the beneficiary of being picked on in this game. 7 targets, 6 catches, 66 yards. That's most of the Jets' offense in this game. Cam Taylor-Britt had a penalty or two penalties for illegal contact, which wasn't a consistent whistle in this game. The Bengals got stopped on a play where I thought Jamar Chase was illegally contacted downfield, but again, it's picking nits in a game where you don't have to. There's just like you said, you go through the entire defense, all these young draft picks. DJ Turner, who was maybe the least offensive in this game, still was on the receiving end of that trick play touchdown to Mason Taylor, the only catch he allowed in the game. Had a good run defense tackle as well. Jordan Battle, we talked about why that was a mixed bag for him. Demetrius Knight still missing tackles in this game, critical tackles at the point of attack that are leading to big runs. Same issue for Barrett Carter, who had a couple of nice plays early in the game, and then just mentioned the coverage numbers for him. And then you go down the list, like you got guys that can't get on the field or slow off the ball in Joseph Osai, can't string together pass rush moves with any efficacy in Chris Jenkins and Miles Murphy. And it's just what you get on defense is a defense that, like we talked about, this is a get right game. This had to be a get right game if there was going to be any hope for this defense to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. Not even close. Got wrong. Got worse. It looked worse this week somehow than it looked against the Steelers. Worse this week than it looked somehow against the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. We're talking about that against the Justin Fields, no Garrett Wilson, and no Josh Reynolds if you want to throw him in there. Like Isaiah Williams' revenge game is what we're talking about here. Justin Fields putting his owner in his place, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's weird. I guess
this is Justin Fields' first win when his team has given up 21 points in his career. The Bengals are now, I'm seeing comments here. So shout out to the commenters here. We got a lot of you guys having a good time, I think, if that's what it is. But Bengals are now 32nd in third down defense. I assume that's by percentage of allowing conversions. That's not good. Another bad one. I mean, that's, to me, scheming is a lot on third down. Pass rush and scheming. If you want to say, like, what's third down defense, you got to dial up. They have specific packages on offense and defense for, like, those are money downs. You're going to force a punt or a field goal, or you're going to get off the field, and your pass rush has to win, and you got to scheme something up, and they can do neither of those right now.
I don't know what they can do. Really.
They can't do anything. It's bad.
Which is really sad because the offense was good. Yeah. And the Jets' run D actually good coming into this game. They were like 4th in run defense success rate, or maybe second in run stop rate, which the broadcast also talked about. So I went and looked it up. Coming into this game, second in run stuff rate in the NFL, 27% or something like that. They had a handful of those in this game. Got a crucial one on the 2nd and 10 run, which is a play call that we can talk about on the Bengals' final drive of the game to set up the third and long. But they were like 30% when I looked at the end of the third quarter, and run D success rate after they were like 67% on the season. The Bengals were running the ball well today with Samaje Perine, who had a great game, with Chase Brown, who had a great game, and the offensive line opening up holes, guys running through tackles. Joe Flacco was pretty good. Not great. Yeah. I think he was a little bit worse this week, a little bit more erratic with ball placement that led to some balls being incomplete. Also had a couple passes dropped again, which is, I think, Joe Flacco trend at this point. Just the way the ball's coming out. But the play action game was great for the Bengals in this game. 7 for 8 on play action plays for Joe Flacco for 126 yards. The T. Higgins touchdown where you get the safety biting up on a crosser. The screen game, fairly effective for the Bengals in this game. 33 yards on 5 screen attempts. Had one really cool design screen where Jamar Chase was at running back and Samaje Perine was at fullback. They go misdirection. They have motion at the snap. They go play action. They make it look like a play action screen to Chase on one side, throw it to Noah Fant on the other side.
They were in their bag for most of the game on offense.
It was a cool play. And then in the end, when you need it at the end of the game, you get 3 straight throws.
There. You get 2 drives. I don't know if you're starting with the one before or not. Okay.
Yeah, 2 drives. So you get 3 straight throws on the first drive. And the first down play where it's a screen to Jamar drops it, we can talk about. And then the final drive, you get that 2nd and 10 run call. those are the two big play calls that loom large that people are also upset about. Rightly so, I think, to finish the game. And I know you have some thoughts around this.
I do. So the second to last drive, they start off with that screen to Jamar, quick spot pass. He drops it right. That looks like a package play to me. We talked about it in the postgame show against the Steelers. They had a lot of success off these things. Flacco was seeing it really well, right, for the most part. And you have a run play and a screen to receiver built into one play. So if you see what you like with a numbers advantage on the outside, just flip it out and give it to Jamar. So, a lot of people are like, Taylor, 3 straight passes. And I'm kind of like, no, he called an option for Flacco to there to whatever gives him the best opportunity to gain yardage to pick it. And so he did have a run play called there. And then once Jamar drops it, really hard to run. And again, this is coming off where they were just running for like 10 yards per pop on the drive before that. So I get it. Like I was also waiting for them to just lean on the run again until the Jets stop it. Once it's 2nd and 10, you don't want to run in 2nd and 10 situations. 2nd and 10 runs lead to more failures on offensive drives than any other play call or play situation in the league. And this has been true for like the last 20 years of football. So I get why you don't want to throw it again on or why you don't want to try and run it on 2nd down, which comes to the last drive. And they get a big run for Chase Brown off the start. And then it's an incomplete pass on 1st down. And then he does run it on 2nd down. And I think they had an opportunity to bounce it out there and maybe pick something up. Pirine gets tackled, and then they got to call a timeout and get back on it now. Because it's 4-down territory. I kind of get why you may feel like you have an extra play to burn there and think you can maybe get the Jets because you've been running it so well. But at the same time, the play calling at the end there, people are going to criticize it. And I think it's right to do it when you fail on 2 straight drives on a day where your offense has seemingly to that point did whatever they wanted. We got a great comment from Teeth Malloy real quick, Jake. The Jets have tallied 500 yards total offense twice in the last 25 years. The Mike White game and this game.
Are they both in week 8? I saw someone else say week 8 Jets curse in the chat. So maybe they're both in week 8. That. Let's not put the Jets on week 8. That's not great. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to go back and look at the tape on what actually happened on from a passing concept perspective on the last drive.
Yeah,
last drive especially. The ball goes to the seam to Andre Yosevach. Great play from Jamin Sherwood to get a hand in there. Could have been a game-ending interception on that play. But again, like, maybe you would like to see the ball go elsewhere on that play. It's very tight
T
window
with 2
play.
targets.
T only has 2 targets in the game. Yeah. So would like to see what was going on that play. Then you get the 2nd down run. Again, curious to see what the opportunity was to bounce that outside. And then you get the pressure. Flacco just has to throw it out of bounds. And then you get a 4th and 9. And that's why that 2nd and 10 run.
Yeah.
Like even if you're in 4-down territory, if you have to burn a play on 3rd down now.
And they had to throw it away.
At least you would have had a shot if you take a shorter gain. Maybe you go quick gain, 2nd down underneath, gain 5 yards. And then you're 2 downs to pick up 5 yards and you're pretty close to field goal range. Another thing worth pointing out here is the kick return game for the Bengals needs to change, I think, at this point. It's kind of an X factor, right? It feels like, and I've mentioned this a little bit the last couple of weeks, the kick return game and the kick coverage game for the Bengals. The kick coverage game took a step in the right direction in this one.
Yep.
The
Giles
kick return
Harris
game,
shot out with a couple tackles.
And Oren Burks on one of those for Giles Harris. Giles Harris being the call up for special teams duty, which ends up mattering with Shaka Hayward leaving the game with a leg injury, probably a broken leg, tibia.
Wow.
So that last drive, Charlie Jones returns it 22 yards. That return game gets you to the 25-yard line. You get to the 35-yard line instead on a touchback, right? That should be your goal. Minimum 35. Isaiah Williams had a pretty good game as a returner to finish the game. The Bengals started pretty good in kick coverage. And again, this is like relatively small potatoes compared to the big issues with this team.
It's time for defense. Small potatoes. At the last 5 minutes or so of the show is small potatoes time.
Small potatoes. I want some small potatoes to eat some food.
You're right.
But you get those 10 extra yards, and then you're on the other side of the 50 already. Instead of on your own 45, you're on their 45. Maybe you can talk yourself into a desperate 62-yard field goal in that
Mhm.
spot. Or maybe you can you don't even have to do that. You don't need a first down. You can play differently for a field goal. I mean, you're giving the ball back to the Jets with 30 seconds and needing only a field goal of their own at that point, but at least you can play for a field goal on the
Yeah.
other side of the field. So like that's where these things add up, and the return game is there's all phases, right? The offense does fail on their last 2 drives of the game. They had a couple of opportunities early in this game to extend the lead more than they did. When it was 10-0, the Bengals got their second stop of the game, and the Bengals on offense very quickly go 3 and out. So instead of 17-0, it eventually ends up 17-3, which isn't a huge difference, but maybe you cash in on both those drives, you get it to 20-3.
Yeah.
There's a couple times in this game the Bengals defense does get a stop out of the half. Bengals offense quickly goes 3 and out. So the 2 punts the Bengals forced in this game, one of them in the first quarter when it was 10-0, the Bengals go 3 and out, gain 1 yard. The other one was in the third quarter, the Bengals go 3 and out, gain 4 yards. Those are the 2 punts the Bengals forced in the entire game, and the offense in those moments went 3 and out on those following drives. So complimentary football not there either.
Yeah, small potatoes also. It's, I guess, linked to the kick return. I mean, Jermaine Burton can't be the kick return man. He can't run through contact or more aggressively than Charlie Jones does. Charlie Jones doesn't play offense, so what are we worried about, right? Can you're telling me the guy can't do that? Taj Brooks can't do that? Like, I'm curious that it's still Charlie Jones there, and I've liked Charlie Jones and backed him, but as injuries have piled, he just doesn't seem like he wants to or can run through the contact required now. The kick return game is different. These guys are, things seem more condensed. You're going to have to run through. You don't get the opportunity to really get guys out of the way and then bend it backwards seems like they keep trying to do. And then that leads to Yoshi, which the conversation, I mean, the people want to talk about Yoshi there. You're right. We go 95% of the game unaware he's even on the field. He's out there doing cardio. He's running routes for no reason, right? His yards or his snaps per target, his yards per snap, it's disastrously low. He's not a factor in this offense. And then you need him at the end, and now we expect him to make a play in contested situations and come up with some tough balls. I'm sorry, but you're telling me that Tinsley can't do this, or you're telling me that
just let Samaje Perine go return kicks again. He's done it this year. Why not?
Taj Brooks and Samaje Perine back there. But you're telling me that Burton can't get on the field when Yoshi really is a non-factor, and he's not a great blocker. I pointed out numerous times in film reviews. You're telling me that Charlie Jones can't play offense in that situation. Mitch Tinsley can't. I just feel like we could do more there. And then it leads me to the tight end position too, where I'm watching, and here's Tanner Hudson getting 2 targets on the opening drive, right? And it's like, and that leads to a failure and a field goal on the opening drive there. And it's like, yeah, it's a tough catch, but at the same time, why is he playing? I understand Gesicki's on IR, so they're inserting Hudson into Gesicki's role, makes it easier to keep the offense just moving. But why can't Noah Fant do that? And I don't understand why he's only a 12 personnel type tight end right now. I feel like he could do so much more. And, I just come away thinking like the offense was really, really good, but not perfect. There are still ways they can get better. And a lot of it could be personnel usage and making sure the right guys are out there, just rotating more at receiver.
Getting targets for T. Higgins seems like a priority going forward. I mean, it doesn't matter with this defense. I don't know. But getting targets for T. Higgins, 2 targets, 1 catch, 19 targets for Jamar Chase in this game. I love getting Jamar Chase a bunch of targets. There are only 34 passes in this game.
Yeah, but what are we getting? 6 yards a target to Jamar?
Yeah, he had 91 yards on 19 targets. So that would be 4.8 yards per target.
It's not good. That's not quality football.
That's a pretty bad rate. I mean, a lot of these are like run plays that Flacco's been thrown behind the line of scrimmage and don't have much of a chance, but going to be interesting, I think. And I don't know what your angle is for film this week, Joe, but one of the things that I'm interested in seeing is like, what were the Jets doing? Why were we not able to get the ball to Jamar Chase in quick game opportunities? No Sauce Gardner out there either, right? And so missing 2 of their best players on both sides of the ball. Breece Hall goes crazy. You got Isaiah Davis chunking you for 50 yards as a backup running back in this game. 254 rushing yards for the New York Jets. Isaiah Williams, like I said, revenge game, had 3 catches for 31 yards, had a run for 25 yards, was good in the return game as the game went on, had that 37-yard return, had a 21-yard punt return in this game. I thought the Bengals punt coverage in this game, and I don't know if it was the trajectory of the kicks or what it was, but I mean, it's just all these phases where we can talk about failures. I do want to point out one play that I thought was pretty cool.
Okay.
Which maybe not reading the room here. Last
I want to
transfer
see the
you
cool.
I mean, you know this play. We all saw this play. I wish I had a video of the screen that I liked. I didn't take a video of it, but last chance to get that hashtag in if you want a chance to win that Xbox as we look at a cool play. Awesome heads up play from Chase Brown.
And Chase Brown looks back, right? I mean, I'm love that
Chase
the running
Brown's
game has
looking
rebounded.
at this end.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that. I'm gonna get my quarterback killed. And then with
10,
the
11, 12.
The entire offensive line pass blocking, you get a first down on it. Awesome play here for Chase Brown. He had a good game. So shout out to
probably
Chase
had the
Brown.
best game on offense, right? I mean, in terms of not just this, which saved the drive, leads to a score, that touchdown catch he had, great route, good catch. And, with that linebacker behind him, he's got a hands catch it. Not easy for every running back. And
like
then
the only guy in this
safeties.
game that beat Quincy Williams in coverage. The Bengals tried to throw on Quincy Williams a few times in this game.
He's a good
Chase Brown
cover
was
linebacker.
the only one to beat him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame though. And this happens on Ring of Honor game. I'm wearing my Dave Lapham jersey. So shout out to our colleague here for First Star Logistics, Dave Lapham, getting into the Ring of Honor along with Lemar Parrish, two Bengals greats. Although there was some drama, it seems, with Corey Dillon getting there, but whatever. It seems like there always is. But it stinks to ruin that kind of day.
Yeah.
When you're honoring these greats.
2 years in a row, right? That they've lost for the Ring of Honor game. Last year was week 4, and they were 1-4. Right? Am I remembering that correctly?
No, because they started off 0-2. So isn't that the game they won? They started off 0-3 last year, and then they won.
I'm looking now. It was week 4, right? That was when they did it.
Dude,
Carolina, they did win.
Breakfast.
If that's well, no, it was a Washington game. It was a Washington game at home in week 3, and they lost.
It was the Commanders game. Yes,
that was the first time they lost in the white Bengal
Ring of Honor
uniform.
Yeah.
Week 4 was on the road at Carolina. So let's get to our giveaway here, Joe. I think so. There's some.
Are you going to finish with fire everyone first, and then we can do the giveaway? People want heads, and I would like to give them heads.
So what I want to do is set up the midweek show, the preview show, the midweek show. I think this week. So if you're only here for the post-game show every week, we do another show. Joe and I do. We do 2 shows a week. We do a preview show, which we cover all the big Bengals topics of the week and things that we don't get to in the post-game show. And one of the things we don't get to in the post-game show today is we got to talk about Duke. Got to talk about Duke.
Yeah.
Got to talk about the way this team's drafted. We got to talk about
what
they should be doing organizationally. Obviously, the answer starts for many people, and I don't think wrongly, is like sell the team. Get somebody in there who cares about the team, who will obviously keep it in Cincinnati, but will invest and create a modern NFL franchise in the way that we're slowly talking about. Yeah, they're making baby steps. They're doing some things, and then you see them fall back into their old ways so often. Got to talk about the coaching staff as well. I don't know how you recover from this game in the long term. Like I said, the tricky thing here is like they could go out and beat the Bears next week.
Right.
And then it's like, if they beat the Jets and lost to the Bears, would you have been too surprised if that had happened? The Bears losing to Tyler Huntley and the Ravens, putting up only 16 points against the Ravens' malign defense this week. Wow. Looking forward to being the get-right team for the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson next week, as the Bears are now, 4-3? So the Ravens crawling back into things. Lamar Jackson injury scandal aside, going to come back. That team has a soft schedule down the stretch here. The Bengals give up a game, and I mean, really give up hope for me in the defense that they're ever going to find their way this season. But let's get to our giveaway, Joe. We've got a couple of Xboxes to give away, as you can see on the side there. Wrapped Xboxes, courtesy of First Star Logistics, our fantastic partner. And our first giveaway winner from Twitter
is Chad Shepard. Congratulations, Chad. You're getting a Xbox One X. And if you win, add me on Xbox Live. I got a gamer tag. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Go beat Joe at video games. That's the secondary prize. The other thing to note here is make sure you're keeping an eye on the comments on YouTube so you know who to reach out to claim your prize. And we will make sure we get that to you. I think we've had a couple prizes maybe where there have been some lack of communication from some winners, so we can make sure we get these prizes to our winners. Make sure you're keeping an eye on the YouTube comments, and let's give it away for all of you here, the many hundreds of you, maybe thousands of you here for the conclusion of our post-game show today. We've got that other Xbox giveaway. If we can run this giveaway,
the Jake and Joe postgame show, where even when the Bengals lose, you can win.
I don't like that.
Zachary
Schultes. Congratulations to Zachary Schultes. And
Zach, not fire is this Zach. And just to be clear,
we like some Zachs, okay? Yeah. Like Zach Schultes, who wins here in the YouTube chat. Wow, now you're getting credit for the even when the Bengals lose.
You said that first.
Man, it's like that
I'll
guy.
Take it.
When the guy says the joke louder and people laugh the second time. That's going to do it for this episode of the Jake and Joe postgame show presented by First Star Logistics. Make sure you're back with us for the preview show where we'll get into firing guys and the draft history and the personnel issues, and we'll have a chance to see what we see on tape and get some emotional distance from what's still going to feel like a terrible loss and an irreparable defense, I think, by the time we get to the middle of the week. And if you're looking for work in the Cincinnati area, make sure you're checking out firststarlogistics.com for all their job postings, one of the fastest growing and best companies to work for in the Cincinnati area, and a great partner to Joe and myself. Until next time, thanks for watching this episode of the Jake and Joe Bengals postgame show.